It is Thursday, May 23rd. This is Jaguars Happy Hour. Jaguars Happy Hour is brought to you by Ancient City Brewing. And now, a guy who believes a golfer should never consider himself too good for more driving instructions, J.P. Shadrick.
It certainly is the hot topic of the day. Welcome in. It's Jaguars Happy Hour. J.P. Shadrick with you. Busy hour ahead as organized team activities continue. The Jaguars on the practice field this week. A few more weeks to go. Quarterback contract conversation has been a topic for the last week or so. We'll get into that, see where the Jaguars may be thinking about their quarterback moving ahead. Keeping it real, as we always do. And Microsoft questions coming up. Jaguars Happy Hour brought to you by Ancient City Brewing. Taste history, make history. On 1010X LAM, Jaguars.com, Jaguars YouTube, JP Shadrick with Jeff Lageman. And we're both back in the same room again. It's been a little bit. How are you? What's
good?
up?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm also good.
I miss a week, and all of a sudden I come back, and we've got a beer sponsor.
Yeah, and I was
when do we get some of that?
Last week. I think we need a case here
of
the
Greg up.
Anastasia Island Style IPA. Thank you. I'll take a case.
I'm with you on that. I like that. My wife likes the Matanzas River red ale.
Oh yeah,
she likes that.
Sounds pretty good.
But yeah, good stuff. Good stuff, yeah, but we've got to have a flight.
We need like a refrigerator or something.
I've got room for a flight right here. You get you a little flight right there.
We'll make this happen. I mean, this is, let's send a text.
Come on, Greg, make it happen.
Come on, Greg. I don't even know you, Greg, but come on. We're about to know each other, I think. Hey, so a lot going on. Obviously, OTAs are here. We'll get to Trevor Lawrence and the negotiations / conversations that may or may not be going on.
By the way.
Yeah.
You remember when Jalen Ramsey said to back up the Brinks truck?
He didn't say it. He backed up the actual Brinks truck. Remember that?
Okay. Yeah. Well, this whole Trevor Lawrence contract, that's going to be backing the Brinks truck up.
I'd say.
Yeah, that's going to be a really big Brinks truck.
We'll keep it real when we get to that coming up in just a little bit. Organized team activities going on. The Jaguars are back on the field today. They're off tomorrow. All right, so they're out there now. They're doing things. The new defensive coordinator's out there. They're implementing some ideas. They're working players in different spots, and that's kind of what this time of year is for. But before the first organized team activity practice on Monday, head coach Doug Peterson was asked, what does he expect the next month?
Stay healthy. We're still – look, this next phase it's good to be able to do a little competition and compete against each other, but within the rules it's we got to make sure we protect each other. You just don't want any injuries. We're still teaching and learning and developing and all of that. So I don't really go into it with a lot of depth charts in mind. We're trying to get everybody opportunity to put them on film and see what we do have.
So that's Doug Peterson, and this time of year for Doug, he gets what this is. It's very important, yes. Training camp is where it really gets real going into the regular season. However, this is the time of year where you get some things rolling.
Well, I think the whole objective of the OTAs is to get ready for training camp, and as far as the mental aspect, because once you hit the training camp, then it's about, okay, everybody's got to have the mental aspect of it down. Now we can actually evaluate the mental aspect and also the physical aspect. I mean, you can only evaluate so much right now. You might be looking at a lot of players right now that, oh, man, they really assimilate the information quick, and when you ask them questions, they give me the right answer all the time. Well, then all of a sudden it's 90 degrees and it's, in play 25, and all of a sudden they're gassed a little bit. And they're getting physically beat up a little. That's when you need to find out whether they can react or not. And so you can't evaluate any of that at this time of year. So, again, the OTAs are essentially preparing your team to go to training camp. And when Doug was asked about the goals of the OTA program, the first words out of his mouth was to stay healthy. And that should be the number one priority, to stay healthy, but then also to get healthy. Because there's numerous guys on his football team that did not finish last year healthy. Some that may have had to just rehab, some that may have required surgery. some that may have just required rest. I mean, and some guys you had, some guys you didn't. So, yeah, getting to training camp with the knowledge to be able to compete fast in training camp and then also to get into training camp healthy is priority number one.
Yeah, everybody has a plan, I guess, until they get punched in the mouth, right? From a player's perspective, that's the old Mike Tyson line, right? And you show up against another team in a preseason game, you realize, oh, wait a minute, okay, now this is a little different.
That's exactly right, because there's no way that you can try to simulate the physical nature of the job requirement. It just doesn't work. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, in fact, earlier today, and it was brought up, and I was like, look, this, the question was asked about, how you deal with injuries and how tough some of these guys are. And my response was, this is the ultimate gladiator sport. It is. And I don't think there's anything that would compare to football as far as the way that the guys are willing and able to sacrifice their bodies to play the game. And it's not for everybody. And it's not for everybody when you have to do that under a lot of strain and duress, mental and physical. And so that's why there's not everybody lining up to try to play football. It's not for everybody. Not for me anymore either.
It was for a long time, though.
If I could physically play the game, JP, I would literally be playing now. I mean, it's the ultimate gladiator sport. I mean, there's nothing that can compare. Nothing. I mean, it's just the adrenaline rush that you get in that sport is second to none.
And that's why, I mean, a lot of times it can be difficult, and I don't know if you went through this, when you walk away from the game or are told you're no longer good enough to play the game, filling that void somehow.
Well, you never fill the void completely because it's just so unique. And a lot of people say that, when they leave the game, they like to try to find a way to channel some of that energy. But you can find a way to expend the energy, but it's hard to channel that energy because that energy is so unique. But you just have to realize that, that there are things that last and there are other things that don't last. And that falls into the category of not lasting. But it's, while it lasted, it was amazing. And lasted for a number of years because I started contact football when I was 8 years old, which I think is ridiculous. By the way, if you're a parent right now, do not allow your kids to play contact football at the age of 8. That's insanity. It just doesn't make any sense. The body, the mind, the brain is all still developing. That's like a total no-no. We know so much more now. But, once they get into middle school, then you can start to bring some of that onto the table. But I would even wait till high school.
We're on 1010XL AM, Jaguars.com, Jaguars YouTube, JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman on Jaguars Happy Hour. Let's hear from defensive coordinator Ryan Nielsen. It's his first year, of course, with the Jaguars, trying to get the new defense implemented and trying to get a good look at all the players that are new to him.
This part of the year, and then up in the first couple weeks in camp, we have an idea. We have a really good idea, but we're still in that process of moving guys around. The more you can do, and I think you can play a lot of years in this league if you can do more jobs. And so we don't want to just pigeonhole guys right now and, hey, this is this. Now, there are certain guys on our defense that, are going to play a certain position. Devon Hamilton, he's going to play defensive tackle. We know that, right? But some of these guys that can play 2 or 3 positions, we're going to put them at these different positions in these OTAs. It's a great opportunity to see what guys can do.
That's Ryan Nielsen, defensive coordinator, and I think we've seen that the first, at least the one day that we were able to be out there as the media. They're moving guys around in different formations and things.
Is what you should do. The one thing I think that you also accomplish by moving guys around, and we're not. Again, he said you're not moving Devon Hamilton to linebacker or to corner. Yeah. I actually think that they should do that at times.
Just see if you can move around?
Well, the reason I say that, and I'll kind of relate it to more position-specific first, because if you know what everybody is doing, for example, let's say you and I are both defensive linemen, you're a tackle, I'm an end. okay, because I'm a little more athletic than you. You're a little bit bulkier than me, so
Really?
you're defensive tackle.
Am I a 3 technique at least, or am I a
Well,
nose?
yeah, you're a 3.
Okay, good.
You're a
I'll
3.
take
yeah,
that.
you got a little bit
I'll
of
take
athleticism
the 3.
too.
I'm
yeah.
good with that.
If I line up, even though I'm just, let's say I'm a pure defensive end, and if I line up at your spot and I get a really good understanding of what you're doing, that actually can help me understand the whole mechanism and help me understand the whole process. For example, if you're trying to figure out how to fix a bike, and if you just know that this little bolt right here is designed to hold that on, but if you know the whole function of that bolt as it relates to the entire bike, it's a little bit easier to learn because it's a system. I think systems are easier to learn when you understand what the different components do. At least it always was that way for me. So if you have a Devon Hamilton who also is mainly a nose tackle, then you can also flip him to 3, okay, and maybe even flip him to end at times at this time of year, because that way it just gives him an understanding, okay, here's what I'm doing, and maybe this is what I'm doing because he's doing that. So that you get a little bit understanding of the whole process. Now, it would be awesome if you could play maybe a corner in at defensive tackle, and then he would understand why his coverage is doing what he's doing from a coverage standpoint because it relates to what the front's doing. That's a little bit much. But in the real world, would it be possible to do so? Or would it be capable to do that mentally? Maybe. But it's good that Ryan's moving guys around like that, just because it does help them understand the defense.
And the move around from this perspective is, probably linebackers playing all 3 type of positions,
Correct.
right? Just to see if, what looks different.
Correct.
And then
right corner playing left, safety's interchangeable.
Nickel, safety.
Left end playing right end playing left end. I mean,
Right, yeah.
But I mean, there's some guys that, that like Antonio Johnson, for example, the rookie who we felt and I believe is going to be a really good football player, is a safety. Last year he played nickel, so he's probably going to get some snaps at nickel, get some snaps at safety, and you know what? Why not try him some snaps out at corner? I mean, he's got a unique physical skill set. I mean, so there are some guys that have the ability to multitask, and Ryan just used a line that actually goes back to the early days of the New York Jets. The head equipment manager there, which was Bill Hampton Sr., used that line all the time. It was I actually used that in my speech the other day about Ryan Sexton. Anyway, it's on the sidebar. And Bill Hampton Sr. told me this, and the line was, "The more you can do, young man, the more you can do." And he was telling you that because he wanted you to understand that you have more value the more that you could do as a football player. But on a side note, he also was telling you that because he wanted you to help fold the towels in the laundry room and the equipment room. And we did. We actually used to go in there and help fold towels. But it's a very telling, very informative line, and it's something in football that definitely applies.
The schedule is finally here, and you don't want to miss these matchups.
You don't like it.
Well, we'll get to that in a moment. I don't mind. Can I just read the promo first?
Sorry.
Whether you want to become a season ticket member, catch 3 or more games with Bundle at the bank, or experience the season with a Prowl Pass, well, there's a plan for every fan, Logs. Get locked in, Jaguars.com/tickets, or call 904-633-2000. That's too strong. I do like the schedule. We'll come back and kind of touch on this. I want your thoughts.
Because there are parts that you don't like.
There are some, I think, more difficult parts than others.
You want to have this silver platter schedule.
Yeah. Well, who doesn't?
Okay, well, when we come back...
Well, I want to get your thoughts because we haven't talked about it.
I'll give you my thoughts, and then I want to get your thoughts because I want to know what you would change to that schedule to make it better.
Well, yeah. Okay, we'll come back in a moment. We've got like 2 minutes to think about this. It's Jaguars Happy Hour brought to you by Ancient City Brewing. Taste history, make history.
And I can't attack it with the same mentality as last year because I want different results. So I can't keep doing the same thing and expect different results. So I try to change it up and just keep get bigger, faster, stronger. And I feel like I kind of took it back to like my college workouts this year, just focusing on just muscle mass, stuff like that, just to try to just get bigger so that throughout the season I'm able to withstand all those hits and all those blows. And I kind of know what it takes to be in the league now and to play a full 17 games. So I kind of know what to attack during the offseason now.
Travis Etienne Jr., Jaguars running back, earlier this week after organized team activities practice number 1. And welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour, brought to you by Ancient City Brewing. Taste history, make history. And the conversations from those players that we talked with, available at Jaguars.com and Jaguars YouTube. Hey, Logs.
Yeah.
Premier League Soccer is coming to Everbank Stadium.
Really? When?
July 27th.
27th.
It's a Saturday.
Hold on.
It's the first weekend of training camp.
Okay.
Wolverhampton and West Ham United. They'll compete for the Stateside Cup at the bank.
27th.
Yeah, it's a Saturday. Tickets on sale now. Visit everbankstadium.com.
That'd be fun to go to.
Yeah.
I don't know much about the size of soccer fields. You can fit a soccer field inside the
Yeah,
stadium?
they've played soccer in there before.
Okay. I'm just making sure. I don't really know.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
So that's cool.
That'll be fun.
Yeah.
I actually enjoy watching soccer now that I kind of
Have you been to a Fulham game?
I have.
Yeah, when
have.
the team's over there? It's
Yes,
fun.
I have, and it's definitely a great cultural experience.
Oh, it's a trip.
It really is. And it's pretty wild how you can have that many fans show up, and you're like, how do they all get here? And then after the game, all of a sudden you're like, where do they all go?
Yeah.
It's very different.
In that neighborhood, yeah, especially. Everybody
Yeah,
just kinda
especially there,
Takes the
because
train, walks through some neighborhood, and boom, there's a stadium.
Yeah, you're like, where in the world? How did they get a stadium here?
Yeah.
How did they get any kind of construction equipment to redo the stadium recently?
Right.
I don't know, but it's an amazing place.
It is. We're on 1010 XLAM, Jaguars.com, Jaguars YouTube, JP Shadrick, that's Jeff Lageman. A little bit later, in probably about 10 minutes or so, we'll keep it real with the quarterback contract conversation. We'll see. Yeah, that seemed, was that a sigh? What was that? What was that reaction?
No, that was just like,
Okay.
That's like that's a lot.
It's almost like
a lot of money.
It's almost like you're dreading talking about it.
No. That's I don't dread talking about that at all.
Okay.
I just hope that that this contract is aggressively pursued, because there are two things that you've learned as a team, I think, and that if you wait, it can cost you a lot of money. Josh Allen. And the other lesson that can be learned by watching another team is look at the Dallas Cowboys right now. They're in a tough situation with Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott holds a lot of leverage right now because the cap hit is so high.
All right, let's save the rest of this for keeping it real. About 10 minutes or so.
But just a little preview.
I love that. Yeah.
About that.
I kind of see where you might be thinking.
Let's get it done.
Schedule's out. We haven't spoken since the schedule
We
came
have not.
out.
Came out on the 15th.
Did it?
I think it was the
remember day.
15th.
It was like a Wednesday.
Yeah, like Wednesday.
Like a Wednesday a week ago
It was
yesterday.
the 15th, yeah.
You said I didn't like it. That's too aggressive. That's too aggressive.
No, that's really not.
It's
That was actually I
too
was
aggressive.
using your exact words.
No, I didn't. I said it. It said it's tough. There's some tough stretches. That's what I said to you. 3 out of the first 4 on the road against playoff teams. I think that's a tough stretch, by definition. And if you're a good team, you can manage this. If you're a bad team, you're going to get blown out anyway.
Okay.
No matter the schedule, right?
Good
football travels.
Let's get specific about these teams, because you're sitting there going, "Oh wow, playoff teams!
All
Look
right,
at
let's
Miami
start
Dolphins."
at the Dolphins, the fastest offense in football. Browns come here. Myles Garrett, right? We'll see what the
One
quarterback
guy.
situation is.
Okay, but last time I checked last year in Cleveland, if you just played well, you'd won that game. Okay, and they have a quarterback situation that is unresolved, but they play really good defense. Yes.
Correct. Thank you. At the Bills, Monday Night Football.
They've lost a lot. There's been a lot of subtractions with that roster, and there has not been a lot of additions.
The Jags beat them last year.
Beat
I
'em
get
up.
that. Yeah,
Beat 'em up.
Yeah, and knocked like 3 guys out of the game. And then at Houston, which is obviously with what happened last year a big deal. So I think those are tough, man.
Well, I mean, look, I think the Colts are going to be tough in Week 5 too.
Yeah.
because it's a division opponent. So I look. I mean, you got to play teams that are that are good at some point. I mean, you can't just sit there and play a bunch of pansies.
Well, you can't control who you play. It's like the schedule's what it is.
Okay, let me ask you
So
this.
yes,
let me ask you
it's
this.
an NFL schedule. They're all hard.
If you could replace those 4 teams, okay, with 4 other opponents, okay, from the rest of your schedule, okay, and just off the top of your head, who would you put in there?
I put the Titans earlier.
Okay. What else? That's one team. Mm-hmm. The Bears, maybe.
Yeah, maybe earlier.
Caleb Williams,
But they're coming up week
Rookie.
6. Yeah, so this is the next
play good defense.
Next stretch is week 6 and week 7, possibly rookie quarterbacks against you, the Bears and the Patriots in London.
So you'd like to have the Bears and the Patriots?
Well, no.
And the Titans?
Well, I wouldn't mind the Titans. There's 2 Titans games in the last 5 weeks of the season.
Okay, that's good.
Which could be good if
it's good.
Whatever.
I mean, most schedules are division heavy towards the end.
That's fine. Right?
That makes things interesting.
So in theory, at the last stretch, maybe you can, make a run, right? If some of these teams aren't as strong in theory. You don't know. It's all in theory. These teams could stink in the first month. I don't know.
Yeah, because, the NFL is such a year-to-year thing.
You don't know.
That's why I'm not.
Especially week 1.
Look, if it had San Francisco, Kansas City, up there with, who else are considered the top teams? Dallas has always been good really early in the year. Okay, then I would be okay. That's a tough start. But, look, Cleveland, last time I checked, their offense is just kind of And they have a quarterback who got a bunch of guaranteed money who has done nothing yet. Okay, done nothing. Okay, week 1, with the Miami Dolphins, did you see it, by the way? Did you see how they finished last year?
Yeah.
It was a whimper going out at the end of the year last year. Okay? Yeah, they were fast last year, and they scored a lot of points last year.
Yeah.
But at the end of the season, how did they look?
Right. But you never know. I'm with you. But it's in Miami. It's going to be hotter than blazes.
I'm just glad that, look, the game at Buffalo is in September.
Not December trip to Buffalo.
Yeah,
right?
so I couldn't complain about that. Yeah. Let's look at the positives.
It could be a difficult place to play. I get that, right? In Buffalo.
Way better than snowballs in December.
You got that
I can tell you that.
Next stretch at London, of course, the Bears at Spurs, and then the Patriots at Wembley, possibly 2 rookie quarterbacks. Then it's back home against Green Bay and a surging team in the Packers.
An up-and-coming team, maybe.
Okay.
With Jordan Love.
And then at the Eagles and that defense.
A team that struggled last year and a team that's undergone some change. They've undergone some change on both sides of the ball from a coaching standpoint. How will that look in Philadelphia? I think that's an interesting watch.
Sunday Night Football in South Philly. And then home against the Vikings.
I'm thinking cheesesteaks, too, now.
I'm
from
sure
Geno's
you are.
and Pat's.
All of them.
I'm going to hit both of them.
Tony Luke's also, throw that one in there.
I'm not Tony Luke's, But Geno's and Pat's.
Geno's is the one.
You get one, and then you go to the other one, get another one.
Yeah, why wouldn't you? They're right across the street.
It's a 2 Philly cheesesteak trip.
Yes, it is. Usually is. Vikings at home after that. Then at the Lions.
Who's going to play quarterback for them, you think?
It's a great question.
Maybe a rookie. By the way.
The Lions will be good.
The Lions are going to be, I think they're going to be good.
It's a tough place when they're good.
I'm just glad we're not going to Detroit on Thanksgiving. So that's another positive, JP.
a lot of Jags fans on social media were kind of pulling for that in the build-up to the schedule.
I like my Thanksgiving at home.
You got to think about it too. Obviously, it's a short week.
That's my favorite holiday.
Road game on a short week, 12:30 kick on a Thursday. I mean, that's in Detroit, and that is like their Super Bowl there. It's a big deal.
Well, I think every game was like they're going to be a Super Bowl in Detroit for their fan base. I think they were sold out a month ago.
Oh, they're
from a season ticket standpoint.
Yeah, they're back. It's
and then they just gave Jared Goff. What did they give him? Like $50 million.
A bunch of money. Amon-Ra St. Brown got a big payday already as well.
And then Penei Sewell.
Yep, they paid a bunch of people.
They paid a bunch of guys, and what Jared Goff got has a lot. I think a lot of impact on Trevor Lawrence and other quarterbacks around the league.
We'll get to that in just a little bit. Bye week 12, and then week 13 against the Texans, and that is Thanksgiving weekend at home.
Yeah, that's a real positive there, where we get to spend Thanksgiving at home and then have a home game that weekend. I mean, and that's a big game. I mean, folks, if you want to talk about a big game, like one of those must-see games, the Houston Texans coming to Jacksonville Thanksgiving weekend, are you kidding me? Okay, if you've got family rolling in, get your tickets now for that one, because that's going to be, I think it's going to be a marvelous game.
On sale now, Jaguars.com/tickets.
C.J. Stroud, he's got 3 legitimate wide receivers.
He does.
I mean, I'm talking 3 legit.
Yeah.
As long as one of them can maintain his focus, which will be interesting.
Yeah, and then at the Titans, which is it's Nashville, right? Week 14.
Here's the thing about them. What are they doing?
You don't know. You don't know.
I'm not a fan of what they're doing in Nashville, which is good for this team. They drafted a defensive tackle, Devondre Sweat, who's overweight, out of shape, and has issues. Okay, what round did they pick him in? It was high.
Mm-hmm.
They drafted him in a round that you just go, no, you can't take that kind of a risk. And he's not that type of player. But I'm sitting there in the back of my mind, I'm going, what are you doing? And then I'm thinking, that's good, though.
Because it's in the division. Good. Yeah, go ahead,
that's
guys.
Good. Yeah, go ahead. Screw it up. Go ahead, screw it up.
Week 15, the Jets come to town. We'll see what Aaron Rodgers is doing by that time of year and what the rest of that team has.
Yeah. Is he still going to even be walking?
You don't know. You don't know. And then Week 16, weekend before
How old
Christmas.
is he, by the way?
What is he, 38?
Is he 40?
Is he 40?
Is he 40 yet?
I thought he was like 38.
He's got to be, pushing 40, right?
And
then we may get Gardner Minshew the week after Aaron Rodgers. How about that?
He's 40. Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, that's what
40.
I thought.
Yeah. And then, at the Raiders the weekend before Christmas.
So from Aaron Rodgers to potentially Gardner Minshew.
Wow. And then the Titans at home week 17, and then at the Colts week 18 to close it up. So 4 of the last 6 in the division, all 6 in the AFC.
And remember last year, it was a 3-way race. And with what 3 teams was it? The Jags, and then the 2 opponents that you have to finish the season out. So you don't think that the league identified what happened last year and said, hey, let's go ahead and get that same kind of exciting finish in that division to happen again? I think I like that schedule, JP. I'm totally on the opposite side of the fence of you.
Well, I didn't say I didn't like it. I never said I didn't like it. I said there are some difficult stretches, especially early.
I think you said you didn't like it.
It's not what I said.
You're just trying to soften your stance a little bit.
Not at all.
No.
Those can be tough stretches. Am I not wrong?
It's the NFL, JP. They're all tough stretches.
I get that, yeah, but 3 or 4 on the road to start, I think it's a tough stretch.
Let me ask you a question. Here's a trivia question. We're not even really
unless we're just a road team, all of a sudden we're, superstars on the road.
I want to get your thought, okay? Because, a lot of times you go and you look at the schedule and you go, yeah, this team's really going to be tough because they were tough last year. Mm-hmm. Or, hey, they just got this guy in free agency at quarterback or this guy in free agency at this position. It's going to make them a tough opponent. Give me one opponent that you think is going to be surprisingly good this year that the Jaguars will face. Like a team that most people aren't expecting to be good.
The Lions are not a surprise anymore.
No,
they're going to be good.
No.
Texans, we think they're good. Mm-hmm. It was 1 year, right? We'll find out. Mm-hmm. They got good players. There's the Packers. The Packers are going to be good, man. The Packers are going to be good.
I think it's going to be really interesting. And I think you got to have a good quarterback or a young quarterback that's up and coming to be able to be one of those teams
and Packers
that you could surprise team. And Jordan Love, I think, is one of those guys that could become that.
They went to Detroit and beat them last year.
Can a Raiders be a team like that?
It's tough.
Gardner Minshew, what's the other guy's name? The other quarterback? He's so good, I can't even remember his name.
Aiden O'Connell, right?
Aiden O'Connell.
Yeah, that's right.
I was going to say Aiden Hutchinson. I said, no, it's not.
It's not him.
He's in Detroit playing defense.
You got a point. And let's see what Anthony Richardson does with the Colts. He'll be back. Will he be healthy?
I think that is going to be the biggest wild card this year for the Jaguars as far as opponents go.
Sure.
Could they be a surprisingly good team? Joe Flacco's the backup now. Joe Flacco, I'm sure, is going to help him along. But can he stay healthy, number one, because he didn't last year? Can he develop into a quarterback? Because right now he's an athlete that has a big arm. But do you know what zip code it's going to? And does he know what time it needs to get to that zip code? I don't know. But that, to me, that's the biggest wild card this year about the Jaguar schedule. What will the Colts be? I can tell you this. They're going to be pretty good on defense. But they didn't go out there and add a ton in free agency. The Latu guy that they got in the draft, Gus Bradley's going to love him.
That's your guy.
I loved him. Gus Bradley's going to love him too. Guarantee you that.
Let's come back and we'll keep it real. with the quarterback contract conversation. Is this the right time?
I'm hearing that song, and Joe can probably help me out here. Money, 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 money.
Yeah.
Money.
The OJs, man. The OJs.
The OJs
right?
did that?
Yeah. From Philly.
You sure about that?
Yes. 100%.
I thought there was more than just them that did that.
Well, they did that one. That's the one. I mean, that's the.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. You're up on your music.
Come on.
You're not up on your schedule, though.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Calling it a
We
bad
didn't
schedule.
pick wins and losses. We'll do that another time. Jaguars Happy Hour brought to you by Ancient City Brewing. Taste history. Make history.
I think you can be as physical as you want, but you have to execute on. Everyone's got to be on the same page. Some of the best offensive lines I've seen have been physical, yes, but they've all worked in unison together. So it'll all be kind of working as, I know one heartbeat's kind of thrown around a bit, but all having the same one heartbeat and kind of working together. And that's what the great thing about OTA is we're going to figure out how to do that.
That's Mitch Morse, Jaguars center, free agent signing. Welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour. And we're brought to you by Ancient City Brewing. Taste history, make history. Excited to see what he has to offer. Year number 10 in the NFL. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman.
He's going to be your starting center. What do you mean you want to see what he has to offer?
Oh, just a 10th-year player. Like, what kind of player is he? Let's see. I mean, I'm a good, solid veteran player,
He'll
right?
be an upgrade.
Let's see it.
I mean, that's the whole expectation. That's why you went and signed him in free agency.
Which is why I asked him about the physical. Like, the question I had for him there was, when do you realize that the physicality is at a level you guys know it can be? Now, you don't know until the season, obviously. You don't know now and that was his answer. We won't know until later. Now is when you set the foundation for that.
Well, I will say that Mitch Morse is a very good center, and a lot of people say, well, okay, we got to get more physical at that position. Make an upgrade from Luke Fortner. Mitch Morse is a good player. He's not Jason Kelsey, okay, that's got this guy that can road grade you and can lower the pads and drive you off the ball.
Well, he's one of the all-time great centers, too. I mean,
no doubt.
Yeah.
I mean, he's fantastic.
Yeah.
Morse is more of a, get in your way type, but he doesn't he's not a guy that's going to root you down 2 yards off the ball.
Yeah.
That's just not his style.
They're not doing the Philadelphia,
No,
that stuff.
But I think he's definitely going to upgrade the position. And I know that
he's not going to be on his rear end 3 yards in the backfield.
Well, I know that they keep using this language that this is a competition. Which look, it always is.
There's no depth chart right now.
There's always competition, and they're almost, when they talk about that position, they want to mention Mitch, and then they feel obligated to mention Luke as well. I mean, look, Mitch was brought in here for a reason. I mean, okay, so let's just say that he's going to be the guy. And the reason you got him is because Luke didn't have the year that you wanted to have. And look, I'm not trying to criticize Luke. He's just got to it's competition. He always has a chance to win that job back. Anybody always has competition. Okay, but you don't need to keep saying, well, Mitch and then Luke in the same breath. Okay, Mitch is your guy right now. Brought him in for a reason. He's your starter. Okay, and then until Luke can be better than him and show that he's better than him, then Mitch is your guy. That's just me talking. I think he's going to be good for this team, good for this unit. Need a little leadership on that offensive line. Sheriff, I think, is a good one. And Sheriff's got to get back to playing well, and I think that there's going to be competition for that for him as well.
He's got to stay healthy too. All these guys,
look,
right?
I mean,
talking about older teams.
Look, these guys are in their 10th year, okay, and young competition is the best thing on the planet, even for a guy in his 10th year. You can't sit there and say, well, hey, look, here's your job, here's your lunch pail, have a great day, you're the man. No. You got Luke Fortner. Here's your lunch pail. It's got some extra stuff in there, so let's go. Okay, get to work.
I'm not going to ask what's in there, but okay. That's fine.
Vitamins, not any illegal stuff or things that he's going to get in trouble.
Yeah.
And then the same thing goes at right guard. Okay, Cooper last year was doing some good things in training camp.
Hodges, right.
And then he had the knee.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Cooper Hodges, let's go. Okay.
He actually spoke as well. So that conversation on Jaguars.com, fighting through everything, was trying to come back, then had to have surgery and had a setback. So.
And some guys that have had that ended up having to go that route.
Yeah.
And I think he'll be completely fine.
He seems like he's out there now.
Let's go. Push Brandon Sheriff. Take the job if you can.
Yeah.
That's what competition is.
It's time for Keeping It Real, presented by insert sponsor here. It's available. Quarterback contract conversation. Trevor Lawrence. The Jags can negotiate. They have been talking to each other, representatives of Lawrence and the Jaguars representatives throughout this offseason. It's no secret. Both sides have said they have talked about things. This is the first offseason they can negotiate. If they were to get something done now, in theory, it's a futures bet that he's the guy for the long term, because he hasn't statistically put up year-over-year massive numbers, right?
No, not yet.
But as an organization, the Jaguars certainly feel that he is the franchise quarterback, if not now, then of the future, and the price is only going to go up.
Correct.
So you got to do it now, right?
Well, you'd like to. There's a lot of faith, I think, that you have to have when you do contracts for pretty much a lot of the guys. Some of the contracts that you give to guys in the NFL, they're proving it. They've got evidence, and here's the production, here's the contract, here's where he falls. Some guys, you're trying to predict where they're going to be. I think Trevor falls a little bit in that category. Can he be a franchise guy year in and year out, leading his team to the playoffs? Didn't last year. Had some injuries that obviously set him back a little bit. But to answer your question, yes, I think you've got to look at doing the contract now, because the longer you wait, the more expensive it's going to get. I believe there are plenty of signs there that Trevor is your guy. I feel 100% confident that he's that guy. Now, does he need to get better? Yes. I'm not saying that he's arrived and he's that guy now. But I believe that he can be one of those elite quarterbacks in this league. But he's not there yet. So where's that number fall? And that's kind of the debate. When you're getting to that contract negotiation, okay, well, if we believe he's a franchise guy, his number's up here.
Getting what, mid-50s, right?
Okay. And
probably what it is now.
Well, you're probably sitting there thinking, well, he's right here performance-wise, but we believe he can get here. Well, are we paying him where he's at here, or are we paying him based on where we believe he can be? And I think the agents are saying, we believe.
Yeah, sure.
This is where he needs to be. Mm-hmm. The team's going, I'm sure they're being very fair, but at the same token going, well, he's right here right now, and we'd like to see him get here, but this is where he's at right now, so can we do it for this number? And the agents go, well, if you believe he's going to be here, this is where we got to pay him at.
Well, this is where, and the negotiation continues, right? He's won one playoff game.
It's a very complicated negotiation. This is not a normal deal. Because here's what can happen. If it's structured improperly and all of a sudden things don't work, and I'm not saying that that's the expectation.
But, it's reality, right?
But the reality is, if something doesn't work, then now you're looking at a situation that you can't get out from underneath of.
That's right.
If it works out, and he's underpaid, and this is the other thing to consider, just like Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is vastly underpaid right now. So the Chiefs got to do something to adjust his contract, and the smart teams will do something like that, to where you adjust a guy that's an elite guy, he's underpaid, and let's go ahead and bump him up. So, but it's a very complicated situation. It's
hold on, you're telling Patrick Mahomes signed a 10-year deal for $450 million.
Yeah, he's underpaid.
45 on average, 45 a year, $10 million.
Well, wait a minute. If it's 10 year, $400 million, JP, that's a $40 million a year average.
$45 million a year.
So it's 450.
Yeah, 10 years, $450 million contract. $45 million.
What did Jared Goff just sign his contract for?
Probably more than that. I don't know.
It was like $50 million.
Right.
Okay, so let's do the math. and let's look at the hardware.
Yeah, I mean,
is Patrick Mahomes not the best quarterback in the National Football League?
Absolutely. And he signed this deal after how many Super Bowls? Second one or the first one? I can't remember.
Should anybody make more money than Patrick Mahomes?
I mean, in theory, no.
No.
In reality,
no.
They made the deal.
No, I know. I get it.
At a time where I was like, you know what? We got you. We'll lock you in. Security, 10 years.
I remember when that deal was done, there were a lot of people that looked at that deal and said, why did he do that? Because, I mean, the people that kind of understand the economics of the game were saying he did a deal that was very team-friendly for the long-term security. But at the end of the day, like the next year or 2 years later, all of a sudden he's underpaid. So
you got $140 million guaranteed dollars in this contract.
What did Deshaun Watson get? $240
the whole
million
thing was
guaranteed.
Well, that is a totally different.
6 years, $240 million. Well, I'm just saying
that was out there.
Yeah.
See how that's.
And there hasn't been a contract that's been done since then that's been anywhere even near that.
So there's somewhere and we'll see what you know.
But I mean, the number for Trevor, though, to get back to Trevor,
it's got to be over 50.
It's got to be somewhere in the average of the 50 range, somewhere. Which, what was the original purchase price of the franchise?
Right.
If you want to go to comparisons, I mean, you compare the purchase price of the Jacksonville Jaguars franchise, expansion franchise for Wayne Weaver and his partners. I want to say it was like $162 million or something like that in that range, or 200 and something million.
$204 million.
$204 million. So
that'll
Trevor's
be
contract
4 years of his
in
contract.
4 years is probably going to earn more than the franchise original purchase price.
Let's come back in a moment. You think it gets done before the season? Last thought.
Well, because it's so complicated, I would be surprised, but I hope it does. I really do. I hope it does.
Back in a moment. We'll take a look at some Microsoft questions and close it out. It's Jaguars Happy Hour, brought to you by Ancient City Brewing. Taste history, make history.
It's a hard business, and you're going to be right, you're going to be wrong.
Every season, we are responsible for evaluating every single player.
You have to take a hard look at the good and the bad.
You're always looking for leaders, you're always looking for winners.
Does this guy make us faster? Does he make us tougher? Does he make us a smarter football team?
Each person takes the information that they've had available to them, and they come with an opinion. If you're working in unison, the better you're going to be.
It's a pressure-filled situation.
If you're not taking it serious, then why should we take you serious?
You know, you're a scout for football, but you're also scouting the person.
The draft is our Super Bowl, right?
The board's starting to fall. It's either falling your way or it's not. I don't think that's going to be enough.
You know, sometimes just finding a dance partner is difficult.
Yeah, you can't win every trade. It isn't always about the points. It's do you want the player or not? You calling it in?
That's a teaser for The Hunt, the latest episode available at Jaguars YouTube, Jaguars.com. Full team effort to get that done as well, and a really good look at the pre-draft process, and then inside the draft room, access you just can't get anywhere else. Welcome back, Jaguars Happy Hour, JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman.
That is must-see TV.
Oh, yeah. It's 40 minutes
long.
long.
Do you call it TV now? I mean, is it now TV, or do you say something else? It's must-watch. Because, I mean, you don't watch it on TV a lot of times.
Yeah.
You can watch it on your phone, your tablet.
I mean, you can, like, stream it to your TV. Like, you can, screen, mirror
it,
that.
to your TV.
All that. If you,
I actually know how to do that.
Wow.
Believe it or not.
Imagine that.
Don't
hurt yourself.
Something that I've learned. I learned that in the last year, JP.
Congratulations.
I'm taking a big step up.
That's big.
Technology-wise.
Hey, one final thought before we get to the questions of the day. The Trevor Lawrence deal, if it is to come down, if it is for $50 million, whatever it is at this point, you thought he was scrutinized already. Just wait, right? The spotlight gets really bright.
Yeah. And the level of scrutiny goes up because the expectations that are attached with a big contract will make everybody look at it differently. And that's just the way it is. I mean, that's part of the job description. When you look at, okay, starting quarterback for an NFL team that has a very lucrative contract, that's what comes with it. You're going to have a higher level of scrutiny from the outside, from within, and you will also have a higher level of hands reaching out to try to get some of that money that you're making. And that's something that you've got to be prepared for, and that's why every team looks at franchise quarterbacks, and they do so much due diligence in vetting guys to find out if they're going to be draftable type of players at that position, especially, and really all of them, because the significant amount of money that they're going to be investing in them, because you got to have the right guy. You got to have the right guy. You got to have the right physical and mental makeup. And I can tell you this about Trevor: I don't worry one iota about his mental makeup in this whole situation. I don't worry a bit. I think he's very special in that regard.
Let's get some Microsoft questions in. We put out the cat signal on social media earlier today. Here's the best we've come up with. At Radis Johansson, do we know where the Jags would play home games during the stadium project? Well, obviously right now the Jaguars and the city presented a stadium agreement to the city council a couple of weeks ago now. More on the deal at Jacksonville.gov. There's no deal in place yet. They've got to get the vote through the city council and then through the owners and the NFL. That's all down the line. Then they would figure that out.
No, but I think the process has started. I mean, they're researching and looking at potential locations.
And everything we've seen reported is Orlando or Gainesville.
Yeah,
right?
I don't. Unless
that's all public reporting.
I don't know if there's a surprise horse in that race. I don't know.
Yeah. So we'll see.
But the more horses in the race, the better for the Jaguars.
That's true. Also, there are community huddles still left on the schedule. Mm-hmm. So there are 2 left. May 29th, Sandalwood High School, and May 30th, Westside High School out on Firestone Road. So you can go ask questions, show support, whatever you prefer, of all the leaders involved on both the city side and the Jaguar side. No RSVP required. Both are from 6:30 to 8 o'clock p.m., May 29th and 30th. One more question. At Coach T. Miller, what do you do in the defensive back room depth chart-wise? Who starts and who plays where? So give us your start in a nickel defense, Logs, if you can give us your starting 5 right now.
Tyson Campbell, okay. Darby.
Darby's at corner.
Antonio Johnson at nickel. No, I tell you what, I'm going to... Because, you got to get a draft pick in there. I'm going to put Jarian Jones in at nickel. I'm going to put Antonio Johnson in at one safety, and then Cisco in at the other. And then if we're going to play dime, I'm going to bring Wingard in.
You don't think Wingard could start?
No, I think he can start. I think, look, if you look at Andrew Wingard from a production standpoint, his level of production is fantastic. Fantastic. I'm talking not just special teams-wise. I'm talking defense. When the guy's on the field, he makes plays, and he brings leadership. That's a room that is very deep. Your safety room, really deep. Even though you said goodbye to one of them already, Daniel Thomas is a good football player. DT
sure is
good football player.
Great on special teams too.
Great on special teams. Can outstanding gunner. Can play also safety if he were to need to be on the field at that position. So. Very deep position, and you've got some guys with some flexibility.
So there you have it. Microsoft questions are in for the week. Jaguars are back on the practice field Tuesday after the Memorial Day holiday Monday. Mm-hmm. And we'll be out there. Media will be out there on Tuesday to get a good look. You going to be back for that?
I will be. And,
all right.
Just a big thank you to those that served.
Yes.
Coming up on Monday, a very special day for them, and it's well-deserved.
Jeff Lageman, nice to see you again. We don't have a show next week, by the way. So we'll be back in 2 weeks. Yeah, we'll be back in 2 weeks.
What are we going to do then? Next Thursday at 4 o'clock?
Well, I'm going to be working, doing other things. We got other stuff going on here that we can't do a show. But you can do whatever the heck you want.
I'll come and hang out with you.
Yeah, we'll put you to work. Come on, Logs. No. Come on in. No, we need you, man. We got to have you.
You need my emotional support?
We got to have it.
Want to be your emotional support dog?
The dog. Come on, man. Yeah, what's up? That's Jeff Lageman. I'm JP Shadrick. Our thanks to Joe Fortunato, Mr. Alaska, who's back in town.
And let's go get an Anastasia Island IPA.
Sounds good to me. Our thanks to Brent Reber as well. Thanks to you for listening and watching. It's Jaguars Happy Hour, brought to you by Ancient City Brewing. Taste history, make history.